Yo, what's up, y'all? This is my now. These are my first couple videos on tvs.com, tvsmusic.com. I'm bad, my bad. Um, Now I want to go over the basics to, my studio. What I have at home. The basics of FL Studio. Now, first of all, what we're gonna need is a computer. Obviously, you're gonna need a computer to do your production on. You're gonna need a couple other things. So we're gonna dive into that in this video and all that, and how to get it all set up, and then do all the basic stuff. So let's get into it. So, first of all, you'll need a DAW. And I use FL Studio on a Lenovo, and it tells you more about Mac users. So that's what this looks like. So basically that's that. Now, first of all, you're gonna need a computer. Anything's fine, but now that to the right here is that's my actual computer specs and stuff, because I'm showing you that I'm not running nothing crazy high. Like mine's at all these specs right here at 3.0. It's actually mine's a little bit under all these specs. So besides the 500 gigabyte drive or whatever, it's I'm pretty sure it is a 500 gigabyte drive. But that's good enough for now. That's all I need for now. It's better to have more. But that's what you're gonna need at the minimum. If you don't know about these things, just kind of look over them when you're getting your first computer or whatever, if you didn't get one yet, or if you don't have one yet. And if your stuff is less than this, I'm pretty sure you'll be all right to where you can still do a lot of stuff. You're not going to just take up all your CPU doing something. Maybe you will. I'm not sure. It's just better to have at least these specs, so you can get, decent, processing. So, like if you have an old phone and you're trying to play new games on it, it don't work. You know what I'm saying? So it just plays it bad. So I would recommend to get a desktop, like with like the box. You know what I mean? Or like an all-in-one where there's no box but it's still a desktop computer, because they're just better to have it in your home studio. They're bigger screens usually. Usually have bigger processors, more memory built into them, because a laptop is on-the-go type thing. That's what it's for. It's for the convenience of it. So you could get like a Razer Blade Pro and all that, and other ones that are really good like Macs. But that's awesome if you have one on the travel. That's perfect for. If you're traveling with it, that's awesome, bro. Get one. But if you want to just have one at your home, you get one. You get it something else like this. So it's up to you though. There's no wrong unless you can't process and run your projects to your completed song that you want to finish. Due to your hardware. So you just want to, that's all. I recommend all those things. So, keep that in mind when you're getting your first computer. Now next, your DAW. Now, I'm only gonna be producing on FL Studio in all my videos by ImageLine. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just produce music. That's all. It's just my passion. I love it. I bought the producer edition a while back, and before that though, I used a demo for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? And just because I could, and I never could save my stuff, so I started saving my. I got sick of that. I bought it, started saving all my stuff, opening it again. And it that really helps you out a lot. So, but don't let that get in your way of still learning with the demo. It's so fun. But anyways, the reason why I use FL Studio, because it's so colorful. Like the colors sell me. Like that's the main thing with me. Like colors to separate, to keep track and stuff like that, so I can get farther and farther and farther without getting confused. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure other companies do that, and I'm sure other companies give you a free demo, but they give you a free demo and they maintain lifetime updates, which is awesome. And I've gotten like all the way 9 to 12 or something, 8 to 12 FL Studio, whatever. Now it's 12.5, and that's what I have. So we'll be producing on that here in a minute in the next couple of videos. But anyways, other than that, any DAW will work. They're all good. I don't think FL Studio is stronger in any way than other DAWs. All the companies that built them are really good companies. I just happen to follow it, FL Studio by ImageLine. So let's move on. Now third is your audio interface. Now this is kind of confusing to the first person that doesn't know what it is, or that's just getting introduced to it. but it's very, very simple. So basically, all the audio interface does is it allows the processing to happen through the what do you call it? The computer, and it connects the microphones, the headphones, and the sounds all together in one. And you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a middleman for all your stuff to connect. And now with that, when you're by yourself like me, now usually you want to get something like small. You want to get like a couple inputs. Maybe you want to record yourself and maybe someone on the chorus, or you know what I'm saying, or record an instrument, or record two mics at once, or whatever. You know, you might want something else. It's better to get two than just one, because you always want to have that extra option just in case. But if you want to have a band, you know, if you're a band and you're watching this or something, then you want to get something large. You want to get something that's big enough to play all your stuff. If you're a band watching this and you want to just, you know, get all your stuff together, you got 5 people. Well, you got to have 5 mics on so you can record each person clear. You don't want to be all jammed together. You can't play like that on one mic. And you'd have to have at least 5 for those 5 people, but it would come in about 8 or whatever, 10 or 18, whatever it is, or you know what I'm saying. I'm not sure once it gets higher, but after that would support all those people, those 8 or whatever, 5 or, you know. So if you have 18, you could do harps, you could do trumpets, you could do all kinds of stuff, and you could really get a full entire like ensemble going, and you know, it just keeps going from there. So I mean, that's totally up to you. I bought the small one because I don't need anything crazy. I'm just a person at home by myself doing this, so I don't really even have people come in because I spend all my time learning more than I do actually applying. So, which is weird. You know. But anyways, you know, let's get to the next slide. Now, the reason why this is confusing is because it's the first equipment piece that you need, and it's kind of like when you walk into the store, you like walk into like a foreign shop. Well, at least when I did, because I just, you know, when I first walked into the you know, certain music shops. Well, actually, any music shop when I was younger, when I was, you know, 8, I would just look at everything like I didn't know what anything was. And I never did until I started to force myself to learn now. Well, not now, but, you know, years ago. And when I walked into it the first time, it just was like so foreign, you know. So, this is the first piece of equipment that you want to get. So next, let's go for the headphones, you know. Now, you want to get a pair of headphones maybe at the same time, depending on where you're standing. I don't remember if I did or not, but I bought my stuff very slowly one at a time. So, you know, because not everybody's got it like that, and that's all right. So don't worry about that. You know, keep your grind up, and you know, get a pair of headphones. You need to be, now listen to this. They need to be open back or closed back flatline headphones. Now, if you don't know what that combination of words is meaning, then you just simply Google it. You know, I'll tell you a little bit right now, but just Google it and they'll show you exactly what it is. You'll get it right away. You know. And anyways, I'm using the ones to the left. Right now they're on my head right now. And they're open back headphones that are they're Sennheiser 280 HD Pros, and I've always been using them for a long time. I've had them for years, and they're really good. And honestly, that's my only pair of headphones besides my monitors that I got. And you know, it's kind of like, if you look at them, it's like the fabric looks like they're too tight on there. Well, that's not, you know, it's not, but that's just what it looks like. And you know, it's kind of hard to explain, like perforated or something. And you know, that's what it kind of leaks in sound. It gives you a little sound. You know, it's not. And the other closed back headphones are kind of really tight. You know, they're you know, they're real good with you know, cutting out certain things. So that's the difference. You know, you might want to read up on it because I'm not the best with that. But anyways, it's good to have. You know, if you get a couple pairs of them, you know, you got to think. If you get one of each and then you got your monitors, well, that's 3 different points of, like, where you can reference your music from. And then, of course, you got your phone and your Apple headphones and your Beats. If you got headphones like that all over, then you can reference from those after you're done, like, completely mixing and mastering or even not done, and you can kind of see how it all plays out, and keep going on from there. So that's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to have. So let's keep going on to the next slide. Let's see what we got now. Fifth, a microphone, a mic stand, and mic accessories. This is important because you can't just get a microphone and without a mic stand and you don't need mic accessories at all. There's not really much things that you need that will not let you allow you to actually use your mic. All you need is the XLR cables that we're gonna go over in the next slide. So no, I'm not gonna confuse you. All you need is the cables to plug it into the audio interface in your mic. So, and then you need your mic stand because you can't really stand around and hold it all day. That's why that's important. So, there's so many options when it comes to this, and I'm gonna list a few here. But some on the budget side where quality meets, and then you know what I mean, like where money is no object and quality exceeds value. So there's two different worlds to this kind of. But honestly, I'm using an SM58, and if you guys know mics, this is a really, really, really basic mic, and they use it, and you'll see artists, famous people drop the mic on the stage, or comedians drop the mic on the stage, and that's usually what they are, SM58 or any type of dynamic mic. But first of all, you need to understand there's two microphones before you go running around, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of did that. I kind of didn't really know. I just was so in love with the idea of holding the microphone. That's all I cared about. And I just kind of, but I learned before I bought one, and I kind of picked it up as a choice. So a condenser mic is just really expensive in my taste right now for me. So they're around like $700 to $1,000. You could probably get cheaper ones, but a good one is considerably like that high. The Newmans, they're too small. They make up. There's a couple definitions right there for you guys, and I'm not too sure. I kind of some of the definitions of it there. So if you want to read those, they're simple versions of the definition. So a condenser mic basically is two small metal plates, very close to each other, and so on. Dynamic mic is kind of built like a speaker and so on. So you can kind of go over that if you want to, and just pause this or whatever. We've been here for a while anyway. So next, here's a couple mics. Now I forgot to include the stand mount picture because I'm just out there. And in the next slide I got a picture of it anyway. So here's a Newman mic right here. I got the down below. I got the APA format citation because I didn't want to get in trouble for having these pictures on here or something. Anyways, now with condenser mics, there's a couple right here, and these are the fantastic mics for vocals. Dynamic mics are fantastic for stage and stuff like that, because you're not gonna go and use your best mic to run around on the stage, and you don't want to do that anyways. You don't want to throw something around like that. So anyways, there's a couple examples anyways, and this is literally my to my right is my actual microphone. So I took a picture of it and didn't cite it because it's actually mine. Now there's a 6 basic types of stands. There's a tripod boom, desktop, round base, low profile, and overhead. And I don't know if there's any more, but I guess that's the basic. These are the basic ones. I took it just from some website because I wanted to kind of sum up all the basic mic designs. And I have the tripod, and these are my mic accessories right here. And now I don't have the craziest mic with a overhang and a spider mount and all that crazy pop filter stuff, but what I got gets the job done. And that's the most important thing about it, is that it gets the job done, and I'm learning about more and so on. I'm not diving into something that I can't understand right away, and I'm just doing it as it goes. So that's kind of important to remember. Don't bite off more than you can chew, as they say. So you can add a lot of quality to your recordings, such as a pop filter. Now if I move my pop filter away real quick, now watch this. My pop filter is about 3 inches away from my mic, and if I move it away, then you can really hear my voice a lot. It's more like annoying, kind of. It's more high pitched, and you can hear that really, really easily. So let me put it back over. Now that's the difference between that. It blocks out a lot of those unneeded sounds. So Now you can get acoustic panel boxes, stand mounts, microphone mounts, and some other hardware. Like the preamp to the right I use, which colorizes a vocal and boosts them. But I'm not using it right now. But I do use that for certain recordings at certain occasions because it makes your voice sound soothing. Something, it depends on the preamp. But this one in particular is kind of like a tube amp. So it kind of colorizes it a little bit, not much. But it's pretty good. But anyways, let's move on. I got let's see what else we got going on. Now here's the cables that we got to go over. Now, this was the hardest thing for me because when I went to the store to actually do this, when I first bought my computer, I was so ready to do everything. I went to I was like went online to how to build my home studio. And the number one thing I could not figure out was the cables. Because it was just that first type of deal, but it was so aggravating. I'm like, and worried about it. I'm like, well, what the fuck cables do I gotta pick up, and what cables am I gonna, and where am I gonna plug in? What are these crazy plug? What does this XLR or TRS mean? What does that mean? And I'm like, whoa, and I can't focus. So let me explain this simply. When you get your audio interface, you download FL Studio on your computer. You get your audio interface. You plug it in. I use a USB plug-in. I use a USB audio interface Scarlett 2i2, and it plugs in to the back of my computer. And the driver installs by itself. Just like everything else, just like my iPhone does, just like your iPhone would, or just like anybody's phone would, or cameras. And then you literally take this right here. Now, number 3, right here, the steps I got is. Now right here to the left, this is my mic, the bottom of the SM58. It's hard to see there's the metal top, but to the right is the actual XLR cable. All right, and this one's like 20 feet long, 30, because it's like one of those long cables that you use on the stage or something. And I thought I was, I'm just tripping. When I bought it, I was tripping. But anyways. You plug that in the back, okay? And then the other side, the left side of this, plugs into your audio interface. And then you link it up through your DAW FL Studio, and then you got your mic. Boom. Simple. And then here's the same plug without the mic. Here's what do you call it? The input to the mic, and then there's the input into the audio interface. It's called unbalanced balance, but I didn't want to put that in here to confuse everybody, or whatever. Anyways, next, on your headphones. This is headphones over here. This is important to know because when I bought my Sennheiser headphones, I was confused a little bit. And my audio interface, it has, what do you call it? A 1/4 jack in your headphones come with it. Okay, they usually should, and if they don't, read the package that you're about to buy. Read up on what you're doing. Don't just buy something that's shot in the dark. Kind of just read it, go over it, and you can see if it's 1/4 or 1/8. There's only those two sizes, I'm pretty sure, and it'll come with it. And then that plug, that 1/4 size, it's literally screws on to your the headphone jacks, your actual headphone jack, and it plugs into the audio interface. So you can't plug in your headphones without that. So if you look at these two pictures, this is the regular one that would plug into like an iPhone or MP3 player with the threaded right here, thread or whatever, and it screws on to there, and it becomes longer, and that's what the audio interface needs, a longer jack. I'm not sure exactly how it all works, down to the wire, but that's what it uses. That's how most headphones work when you plug them into an audio interface. So that's what I do. I plug it into my audio interface, and I sit right next to it because I don't need to be that far away from my computer at all. So it's pretty easy to set up. Now, if we followed those steps, we'd have our mic set up and we'd have our headphones set up, and it would only be in like 3 steps of like screwing in a couple things. So, after that, you just kind of set up your mic stand. Pretty simple. Connect the mic to the stand. You can add the preamp if you want. It's optional. And then all that other stuff, route open, close, back headphones, the audio interface with the TR connector. I already explained that. It sounds really, really, really complex. Like that sentence, like, I don't even want to read it because it sounds so complex. But anyways, you open FL Studio, change your driver source, which we'll go over. You don't have to worry about that. And you set up your basis, to your home studio. So that's basically your home studio is growing. You started it. Good, like, if you started it, like, huge, huge props. Because that was so confusing to me. And, like, if I've helped anyone, like, seriously, like, I hope I did. And, hopefully if I explain things to a degree that you can understand if you're just new here. And, if you got questions, just please ask. So, let's keep moving on now. Here's the cool thing. You can always download FL Studio and play any sound right through your computer speakers if you aren't sold on this. So if you don't want it yet or you don't have the money yet, like I was at this point, everyone gets someone, you know what I'm saying? Most people are at this point in the beginning. They don't have nothing. They come to something. So I didn't have nothing. I had an old laptop I bought at a pawn shop, and I fell in love with FL Studio. Somehow I stumbled upon it after literally rapping over every Lil Wayne song that I could find. I would I would just do that. So, and then I stumbled upon that. I started making my own stuff. That was about 3 years ago. And the more equipment you buy over time, it seems like the better and better you are. You become you better at producing. You become more engulfed in it. It's more fun to do. You sit around a lot of equipment that you purchased, and you're like, wow, I just feel so accomplished right now. And it's a good feeling. So it's a feeling of accomplishment. So, I found with each new purchase, all I want to do is use that new piece in the studio, and that keeps me motivated, and it inspires me to create new things. And I just bought Omnisphere 2, and that thing is, like, so great. I keep it every day. I keep using it every day. And, I'm getting into sampling a lot, and I love it. So, and, we're going to go over a lot of those type of videos. So, so I suggest to surround yourself in your studio. Like, what that means is, like, sit in your studio and, if you don't got it, work with what you got, for sure. All the time, work with what you got. And, just know that sooner or later you can get this, and you can get a couple other things. Like, you can get these things you need. Like, and, it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. So don't stress yourself out with that, Don't break the bank for most expensive equipment. I produce on these lower level equipment because, I only started like 3.5, 4 years ago, that's when I was like really, really starting to pay attention to myself, but when I was 12, I liked it, but, I don't recommend like to get the best things because let's pretend you go and get universal audio channel, or I forget what they're called. They're all-in-ones plug-in, and you see that thing, and there's like 100 knobs on it, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do first? What do I learn about first? Well, if you can't, the thing that most likely will happen is that you're going to see all that stuff and just get killed. Like, that motivation, that drive, that is going to get killed because there's so many things to deal with at once. And if you're a beginner, you won't like that. And when I went to the music store and saw their studio and tried to use it, with the windows that were, like, see-through, I would feel so embarrassed because there's so much nice stuff in there. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I didn't know what I was doing because I just didn't use my basic. I didn't build nothing yet. I was still learning. That was years and years ago when I was just going to the studio to, or not the studio, just the music shop, just to play on their guitars and play on the keypads and all that. And you know what I'm saying? So, you need to get into the basics before anything. So you definitely should think about that before you before you buy anything crazy that might kill your motivation. And I don't mean don't buy something nice for yourself. Buy something nice for yourself, but make sure that you know what you're doing when you use it, and you don't even have to know all of it right away, but know the basis of it. That way you're not killing your motivation. You know what I'm saying? So don't do that. And with the right techniques and all that, and the proper setup and time investment, you know what I'm saying, we can pump out good stuff with what we have. I'm telling you, and we're gonna do that. And it's tbsmusic.com. At tbsmusic.com, we're always gonna be doing this. We're always gonna have, we're always gonna have new like blog posts every week. There's gonna be new videos every day, almost every day. You know, there's gonna be new instrumentals every week. So just lots of stuff coming your way. So just you know, and I really appreciate all you guys paying attention. So thank you. So let's keep moving on. Now I got a couple things to say. Don't forget, this is an art that's been perfected. Now I hate to say this, and I don't want to say nothing about no one. I love every single one of you watching this, I swear. But don't forget, this is an art that's been perfected over decades through numbers of people. And every one of them knew that believing in themselves was the only thing from giving up and success. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. Now what I'm saying is, like, it takes a lot of guts to get over someone or a group of people that tell you your vision is trash. If someone tells you, if there's 100 people that you just performed to in the wrong area, you know what I'm saying, and they tell you you're complete trash, that was horrible, you should never ever let that get you down. I don't care how bad this traumatic time was, you should grow from it, even if it's crazy serious. I know it's scary in life, but that's how it is, and that's just, you know. So you need to grow instead of become depressed. Too many people are depressed these days. You need to become, you know, stronger. Don't give up on a dream, no matter what people say to you. Do you think, what's his name? He just died. Rest in peace. Hugh Hefner. He just died. Rest in peace. I didn't know the man too well, but you know, he did a lot of weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? But he did it for, you know, he did it for himself, basically. He believed in himself no matter what. No one told him. He did what he did no matter what people said, and there was a lot of people during his time telling him not to do what he's doing, and he still did it anyways, and he was still loved by certain people, and a lot of people did love him, and now a lot of people, you know, are mourning what, you know, and I don't mean to bring up someone like him, but, you know, he is a beast anyways. But back to the point, I want to say this. Take your art with a passion, okay? You know, I wrote, it's meant to be loved and praised to be taken seriously. It is meant to be loved and praised, but, like, you don't have to take this seriously if that's not how you aren't about it. And that's okay. If you want to do this as a hobby and just to learn from it and to grow and become something and have a good time, that's all right. Life is a good time. You make it a good time. If that's what you want to do, that's important do it. So, you know, but remember that when it comes to this type of art, music, you need to know that usually you're putting out yourself on display. Someone usually puts themselves out on display. All the famous people, all the famous artists, you know about them basically. You don't know them personally, but you know what they stand for. You know that Elvis Presley stands for his music and whatever. I'm sorry, I don't even know enough about him. You know that Michael Jackson stands for, you know, pop music. You know, you know that he will passionately dance for his music. You know, Steve Jobs will passionately talk about his products. So it's things like that. And, you know, you're usually putting yourself out there when you do that. So take your art with a passion, you know, and this you know, art seriously. Display your passions artfully, but know one thing though. Know one thing is never let your art get in the way of another. I mean, there's plenty of people that do let this happen. That's just life. That's how it is. And sometimes it even works out to be that way. And it just happens like that. But you should never do it purposely. You should never let your art get in the way of another. You should never, you know, put someone down based on your art and their art. There's not a comparison or a competition, you know. This is an infinite game, is what I want to say. And I think you should do you and only you. You should collaborate and reach out, but never let your work get in the way of someone else of completing theirs. Let them complete theirs, you do you. You know, keep it to yourself, but keep it influential. You know, keep the game influential. Keep people guessing how you do it. Art or music is not a game to be won. Now remember that this is important to know. It's in my opinion too. So I'm not telling you, you know, just written in stone facts. I'm just telling you what I believe. Art or music is not a game to be won. It's an infinite game that will never leave. You can never win the game of music, but you can always bring the biggest influence. All right, you can be at the top. All right, you might be at low sometimes. You might be high, but you can base your music. If you base your music from passion, listen. If you base your music from passion or your business or anything like this can even be you. You can base yourself like this. If you base your music, self, or company from passion, love of it, like love of the art of it, the influence of being yourself. You want to influence being, you know, I can't put it in, like, explain all three, but for the music, the love of the art, the influence of it, all that. Now, when you do it like that, you're spreading trust, all right? You're spreading correlation with the hip hop, that you can be trusted with hip hop. You're spreading passion. You're spreading the love of it, and you're influencing lives. You might influence someone one day to become an artist because you're an artist, and that's what happened to me. I am doing this specifically for like 5 reasons. I don't even know. I'm gonna make them off the top of my head, but I know what they are. You know, the first one is Wayne. Wayne influenced me to become an artist. The things he does and says influenced me to become an artist. It's not him as a person. It's what he says and what he believes in, and it relates to me, and I can relate to it, and I trust him with the music and the passion. That's basically what I'm saying. Same thing that goes with, you know, older rappers like Nas, rappers like Biggie and Pac. All of them cared about the game, and that's all my influencers. Another one is a couple of mentors that I get taught from that just really have taught me so much things about music that I could not forget them in this right here. And if you want to know their names, just go ahead and ask in the comments, and I'll tell you guys their names. But for the sake of the video, I'm not gonna say it. And another one is myself. That's one is myself. I influence myself. I sit here every day, and try to find something new to do instead of going out and partying or something like that. You know, I try to influence myself into something good, if that makes sense. So now, instead of that, you could be about money. When an artist has spread the belief, when an artist is into spread belief, like influence or passion, instead of collecting a check from a performance, is usually the one that connects with the emotions, further driving the music farther. You know what I'm saying? They take it farther because they're taking all this pure emotion and giving it to you, and they're letting you feel with it. And that's just what you want. If you want to mess with it, then that's you. If you don't, then that's you. So, and you know, it's easy to get on a beat. I could get on a beat right now. Literally, I could pause this video. I could run this video in the next 5 minutes, put up a beat, start freestyling to it, and it wouldn't be trash to where I couldn't record it and put it out, and someone would be like, "Damn, that's tight." But the problem with that is that I didn't do it from passion. I didn't spend my time on the feelings, the emotion, what it drives, like how it makes people feel. And that's the very, very most important thing about art and music, and people tend to forget that the most, and I don't know why. And I wish we could bring that back. You know, I just wish I could. There's no comparing rappers. Everyone's different, just like you can't compare a person. Everyone is unique. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's different. So, but the problem with the game is that it's changing to where people are doing it for the money. They see that rap is the money. They see that people are millionaires because of rap. The problem that they don't see is that rap takes time. It takes effort. It takes pure love for the game. It takes heart, and it takes the fact that you die for it. And most people don't think like that when it comes to the game of rap or the game of any art that they're doing or entrepreneurship. I can barely say that word because it applies to that too. Most people that are in entrepreneurship or whatever that word is, I know it. I just can't say it. They do it for the passion, just like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or anyone like that. They did it for the passion. What's his face? Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook. He's passionate for bringing people together, so he did. And it was just kind of things that people come up with off their own minds that they believe in, and they follow it, and that's important to do. And so and I want to explain this in an example. Now, Apple and its competitors, Apple does charge a lot because the welcoming of this feeling and love and all that passion. Because when the two people that invented it were in a garage, they thought, hey, let's bring a tool to the world that we can help people connect with, and we can help things get done faster. We could compute things faster. We could that was a terrible explanation. We could we can figure things out faster, basically. I wasn't sure exactly what they were thinking, but they weren't thinking, hey, I got this piece of metal, let's build a quick let's build a bunch of cheap computers and phones and just put them out and sell them like crazy and see how we do. And if they would have done it like that, they might have been alright for a little bit, but overall, the reason why they still keep going is because they kept bringing their best every time, or what they believed was their best every time, and they didn't care whether it was up or down. They just knew that they had to keep it an infinite game of always creating the next. That's why you see Apple on iPhone 8. Like, it's literally iPhone X 8. Like, come on, bro. 8. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't that crazy? But it's crazy because they are so loyal to the game that they will keep making these products because they're so passionate to you. They want to bring you better stuffs. They're going to be on top of it every year. Like they said, what's that one law? I don't remember what it's called, but it says that computers will double in processing every 2 years. I forget the name of it. And Apple, come on, they come out with a new phone every year with a new processor. They're on top of their game with the pure intent to connect you with the tool to help humans, and they're still on that same game after 40 years. Same thing with Jay-Z, same thing with rappers, same thing with, you can put this in any perspective, same thing with Target, same thing with McDonald's, same thing with all that. They sell the feeling of love and connection with you instead of just a quick bite to eat, or you know what I'm saying? So here's the problem with that is when, let's put this in perspective, an artist or another company of Apple. When the Apple iPod Nano Touch came out, I remember when I was real young, I wanted it so bad, but we were too broke. We were too broke. I didn't get it for like 3 years after it came out, and they started coming out with these new colors that were just really tight, and I was seeing them in the Christmas. It was horrible. But anyways, I finally got one, and I remember seeing the Zune, and my dad's like, let's get you a Zune. Come on, I'll get you a Zune. I didn't have the mom. He's like, let's get you a Zune. Excuse me. And he's like, and I'm like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. I can't do this. It's not the same. It's not the same. And the reason why it wasn't the same is because it was just another, copy of this Apple product. That I didn't want to have no ripoff that was just trying to get me for my money, even though it was cheaper. and they weren't trying to provide me with the connection and the love. They weren't telling me my software, or they weren't proving how fast it ran, or they weren't saying that it did this 100% correctly, and they didn't fall to their faults or whatever. They didn't take to their faults or whatever it is. They didn't take the blames, and I didn't want that, because first of all, they broke the trust by copying the design, which is just insane. That breaks the trust right away. Not only they didn't provide the same customer service as Apple, and they didn't do the same features, and in other words, they believed that money worked. Money would be. They thought that it would be lowering prices would be better. It's like a form of bribery, kind of, to use their visions over Apple. This made matters worse, because sales were never as high as Apple products. Apple was always dominant, and if they weren't dominant, well, they sooner or later were, by producing the next and bigger and better, because they were about their game and they stayed on it, and they promised to connect you faster and better all the time. And that was a promise, and that, or whatever, it's something close to whatever it is. And the problem with that is they lowered the price, but then they sold less and less. So I mean, they were making less and selling less. So how does that sound to a poorly plan? That's pretty poor plan to me. So whatever that is. I mean, you don't see Zunes no more. Them things are gone. You don't see none of them. But you see Apple, and I don't even remember the company. I'm sure it's still relevant, but just saying. So let's move on to the next one now. Now this is still the same thing. This is what music is based off. You'll see this in every entrepreneur almost. Like, they're doing it for the love, the art. It's just, I could say this over and over again. So you want to set your mind to the infinite game. When you set your mind to the infinite game, making beats, all that music, anything you do, you create it all the time for the sake of doing it infinitely. Usually for the sake of to influence, to provide value for the love or the art or whatever. Never for how much money you can make in one day. The wise man provides value and is rewarded money while others take and search more. That's my opinion. That's just what I'm saying. So, that's important to know. If you take any great celebrity, artist, or large public influencer, you can almost tell he did it for the love and passion. I know. Hey, listen to this. Leonardo DiCaprio. Listen to this. This man, I don't remember the movie, but they said action. This man was holding a glass bottle. He broke it or something, cut his hand, and kept acting with his hand bleeding with I don't know how many stitches. It probably was stitches for sure. It was a bad cut. You could go look it up, and that was just passionate, crazy good acting, bro. He went hard. It's the best scene ever in that whole movie. So if you go watch that, bro, that's that man did it for the passion. You could tell he wouldn't have been there cutting himself for just money. No one does that. Could go show up, cut yourself, and think you're good. What if you don't get paid and you just cut yourself? Nah, that man did it for the pure passion. He didn't even care. Wasn't thinking nothing else but being the best he could in that moment. And if we look at Biggie and Pac, they did it for the same reasons. Love and passion beliefs. They defended their lives with that, and they both lost their lives with that. And I just think that's one of the most honorable ways to go out of hip-hop. And I can't say nothing more about that. So any great would tell you money was just that bonus of the value that they provided, just like girls would be. It's the same thing. It's nothing different. Wayne or any artist that could tell you that is that he fell in love with the money. Some people, even let me think. I don't know how young Michael Jackson or Elvis. Michael Jackson was young when he fell in love with the art. He was so young. I don't even know. He's probably younger than Lil Wayne. And they were making music before they knew about money. They just did because they loved it, and they loved it. And Michael Jackson's probably one of the more to mention because he actually was a singer all the time, and he was just so young, 12. And for the infinite, for Michael Jackson, he was always making music, whether it was good, bad, weird. He didn't care. He just knew that he did him, and that's so important. And you'll always make the competitors question how you're always content at where you stand. And I don't mean don't give your all. Always give your all. Always do that, but don't look to be the very best, because someone will come along with a song that's better or better in someone's eyes, and it'll be good competition. And what you don't need to do is try to compete by trying to recreate a better product, just like the competitors of Apple. I'm not saying don't do a remix and make a sick remix or whatever. I'm just saying Don't sit here and try to recreate a Drake type beat and you're not Drake. Don't sit here and make all your songs Drake types and you're rapping like someone else that does not sound like Drake. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So you just be you. Bring your value to the table. Cross your arms and then hold your head high and bring yourself to the table regardless of what people say. Okay? Create not to win, but to influence and bring passion. I think that's all we got going here. Now let's move on to the basics now. Thank you for watching. Let's make a basic rap beat. Sorry for the ranting. I just want to say thank you for everybody that watched this. If you need something explained, just comment and I'll reply for sure. So just don't forget to subscribe. Again, this is my first actual couple videos on T Beats. And so I just want y'all to give me a shout out. Thank you all for watching. So peace out. Thank you. Peace.